It is possible in Vizrt Artist to accept video within your scenes. There are several tools you can use to do this, but within the built-ins tab and the TS folder, there are 4 options here for using video. Now, video 1 and video 2 allow you to pass video through your Vizrt engine to accept a video signal from a source. And the way this works is that we can come in here and grab some type of primitive, and I'm just going to use a rectangle and drag this down to the scene. I'm just going to scale it up a little bit. I'm going to go back into my TS or texture source here, and I'm going to drag this video 1 onto my rectangle. And you can see when I do that it creates these color bars. Now, depending on what hardware configuration you have on your Vizrt Artist or your Vizrt engines, you may or may not see video passing through here. I do not have a video source from a router or a switcher coming into my computer, so that's why I have color bars on mine. When we click on this video 1 icon and go into the editor, it only takes us into the image editor. So from here we can obviously adjust the scaling and the position and the Y, but there are no video settings for us to adjust within here. To actually get to the video settings, we need to come into our scene settings, and within the scene settings we have this video tab here. So we click on the video tab, and what we have is a BG graphics, input 1, input 2, codec 1, codec 2, and FG graphics. What we want to equate to here is input 1. Input 1 relates to video 1, input 2 relates to video 2, codec 1 refers to video 3, and codec 2 refers to video 4. So we have the video 1 plugin, we want to work with the input 1. When we highlight the input 1, it's inactive by default. That means it will not accept a video signal right now in the inactive mode. We have 2 choices to accept a video signal. We have DVE. When I turn on DVE, you don't notice any change, but these buttons do become active here. What this DVE is actually going to do is fill the background of this scene window with video. I'm just going to turn my rectangle off for a moment, and we're going to go back into our video settings. With the DVE active, now depending what type of hardware setup you have, again, you may or may not see actual video in here. I do not have a source coming in here, so I don't see anything. However, depending on your hardware, if you turn the bounding box on, you may see what particular hardware you have. It may say Targa 3200 or some other type of video board that you have installed on your computer, and you will get bounding box lines. With the DVE setting, what we do have here is a position X and a position Y. And you can see when I move my position Y how it's moving our little Target 3200 input 1 down. The DVE setting just allows you to move the position X and Y, and it also allows you to scale the X size and the Y size down as well. It's locked by default, but you can change this by single dimensions. So if you turn off the lock XY, then you can change each individual dimension of the size X and Y. It also has an alpha, so you can adjust the alpha down, and it also has a priority. Priority really stands for a Z position, so you could move this DVE in front of or in back of certain elements. It has an audio volume, so if you have audio attached to your video input source, you can change the volume right here. There's also a crop left, right, top, and bottom, so you can crop part of this DVE video. The DVE is strictly 2D, and you won't be able to rotate this or put this in any type of 3D fashion. To make it 3D or attach it to a 3D object, what you'll need to do is use this texture source. So I'm going to turn my rectangle back on here, and I'm going to go back into my video settings, my scene settings, and I'm going to change my input 1 source here to texture. And it does tell you in the input 1 here when you change it that it's now texture. If we switch it back to DVE, it says DVE. So on the texture now, what this does is actually maps this video source to this object. And within our video settings here, all the options that were available for DVE are now grayed out. The only one we have is audio volume. It is because this video or texture is now attached to this rectangle primitive. So if I needed to make this video source 3D or rotate it and look 3D, we could use the rotation parameters here. We can scale it up, position it, do anything that we need to do within the transform editor here to make it look as we want. And even if we needed to attach this to a 3D object, so if I drag a cube down here, I could actually attach this video 1 source to the cube, and we can now have video on a 3D object.